So the first thing that we're going to do is look at what a lifetime transfer actually is, because we need to understand that before we can understand the backward shadow. There are two types of lifetime transfers. So we've got a PET, which is a potentially exempt transfer, and we've got a chargeable lifetime transfer. So we're going to be looking at both of those. We're going to be looking at what happens when the donor dies. So whether they've made a PET or whether they've made a chargeable lifetime transfer, is there any tax when they pass away? Finally, we're going to get to that backward shadow, and that backward shadow is, of course, coming in when someone does pass away, and we need to look back to see their gifting history. And then we're going to have a look at the backward shadow on death. So let's have a look and see what we're going to do with calculation of those transfers, if it's a PET or if it's a CLT. So as we said before, the PETs will use the annual exemption, but not the nil rate band, because they're not chargeable in life. But because our chargeable lifetime transfer is chargeable in life, that's going to use the nil rate band. And remember, it's not just the nil rate band every time. It's the nil rate band minus any cumulative chargeable lifetime transfers that have been made in the 7 years prior to the gift. Because our nil rate band, of course, it shifts every single day, doesn't it? So you always look back 7 years and say, have I had any chargeable transfers in the 7 years before today? Tomorrow you do the same thing. Next Wednesday you'll do the same thing. So it's always shifting your nil rate band. You're always looking back 7 years to see if you've had any chargeable transfers that will reduce that nil rate band. So what's our pro forma here? We take our failed PET and then we look at the nil rate band at the time of the death this time. Now, for us, we haven't had a change in nil rate band for ages, so chances are that's probably going to be exactly the same. Then we're going to take away any chargeable transfers in the previous 7 years, again, before the gift. We'll be left with the amount that we're going to be charging. This time we're going to be charging the death rate because it's the death. So somebody has passed away. Death rate is 40%. Now, you need to, again, take off your taper relief because of the period between the gift and the death. And if this is more than 3 years, you'll be able to taper that amount down. Then you're going to get your tax due on your transfer at the death.